Amachakwape. I'm Betty Washte. Hello, my relatives. Today is a good day. You know, I talked to my doctor, and the words he used is that he's ecstatic with my condition. What he thought would take 6 months, this is my oncologist, what he thought would take 6 months, took 6 weeks. The tumor in my throat, about the size of a dime. On my PET scan when I first came into him, it was bigger than an egg. Bigger than an egg. And it's all attributable to your prayers. I thank you for that. I can't express my gratitude adequately. Also, I want to thank you for all the good wishes. And I want you also to know that we indigenous people, we have the cures for cancer. All cancers. We have the cures. And I'm living proof. Be that as it may, it's time to get political. It's time once again to talk about international finances. Because what the United States news media is giving you, blaming the Greeks, now they're going to start blaming the Italians, and they already have. They're blaming Europe. It's not Europe, it's not China, it's not anyone, it's not Brazil, it's not Cuba. It is the United States of America that's wrong, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you see, the international currency was the dollar. Everyone had to convert. To buy anything international, they had to convert their monetary systems to the dollar to buy the goods from around the world. That happened shortly after World War II. Now, when they saw that, when the United States realized that they had the world hogtied in terms of the monetary system, that's when they took the gold off of the dollar. Because what does that mean? Because the international community had to deal in dollars, well, they wanted to float the dollar to make even more money, make it more valuable. And also, and this is the important part, they could print more money without penalty. And that's what's been happening. That's why debt. That's why the debt of the United States of America is so huge. Now to finance the debt, they sell bonds and other securities. And people buy those on the bet that the United States eventually will take care of their debt. Well, the tables have turned now. People are getting rid of the dollar because of the debt of the United States, because of the god-awful practice of printing money based on nothing, no value. And consequently, they're saying, we don't want the dollar anymore. So the Arab Emirates, they're in the process right now of creating their own currency for just their oil-producing states. The other thing is so are other major players in the world, the Chinese, the Russians, Brazil, South Africa, India. They're called the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. BRICS. What is happening is those currencies are now much bigger. No matter what they say in the financial pages or on TV or the radio about the finances of Europe, Europe is solid. They pulled off a miracle by creating a central bank for all of Europe. And everything, you know, the debt of both England, which refused to become a complete partner, they refused the euro because they were doing the same thing as America. They were depending on the American dollar. But they printed too many dollars. So Britain is the worst off country in the world in terms of finances. They're worse than broke. And who's second right underneath them? United States of America. They're worse off than Greece. They're worse off than Greece, Portugal, Ireland, Spain, and Italy put together. Put together. Their debt is worse. Their money is worthless. Their central bank no more can print any more money. And that's why no later than March of next year, 2012, you're going to have, by then, at least minimum 30% reduction in the value of the dollar from today. Now, over the past 2 years, you've already had a 30% reduction. So in 2.5 years, you're going to have a 60% reduction in the amount of money. All you have to do is remember how much you paid for food 2 years ago, or for goods in Walmart. That's my measuring stick. See this hat? It used to cost $7 at Walmart. Now it's 15. And that was just a year ago. Wow. So what I'm saying to you is you can't believe your country anymore when it comes to finances, when it comes to the national debt, when it comes to the dollar. They're lying to you to get the monkey off their back. And you're the monkey. So they want you to blame the Europeans when the Europeans are solvent. Because you know why? The Europeans never got rid of their production. They never sold out their people. They still produce steel. They still produce everything. Leather. They still produce shoes. They still have a garment industry. All of that. They still mine. They still doing everything. And they have unions. And they have social contracts with their people. Since World War II, get this, this is another lie of the United States. World War II, the income disparity between all industrial nations has gotten thinner and thinner between the rich and the poor. Except the United States. It's the only industrialized country in the world where the income disparity between the rich and poor has grown. Now are you starting to catch on? Now are you starting to catch on? Even England, it came this way. The income disparity. So, the worst thing about pointing a finger at someone else is 3 are pointing back at you. And the United States is infamous for pointing the finger. And the people in this country. So understand what's happening to you. I appreciate you listening, and we got more.